On graduation day, she confessed her love in public. I was so shocked that I didn't snap out of it for several minutes, but then she claimed it was a joke, just to see me looking like a fool. From then on, we were even more like fire and water. After graduation, my parents shoved me directly into her company. That day, I casually called her Bao Bao, baby, and her face turned red instantly. After graduation, Liu Ruyan's parents opened a company for her to learn management. When I proposed this idea to my parents, my dad silently smoked half a pack of mosquito coils, then shoved me into Liu Ruyan's company, saying righteously that if I was going to ruin a company, I should ruin the Liu families and not even think about harming his. My dad drove me to Liu Ruyan's place, did a burnout, and accelerated away at a speed of 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, leaving behind a homeless me, with my hairstyle messed up by the wind. From that day on, I was forced to live with Liu Ruyan, serving her all day at work, bringing her tea and pouring water, and having to cook and wash her clothes after work. Of course, she would wash her own undergarments. If I only looked at Liu Ruyan's appearance, I would certainly be very willing to do this. But she was icy cold all day long, with an intimidating aura, and staying together at night, there wasn't much to talk about. After Liu Ruyan finished her light workload, she took out her phone and started playing games. Her beautiful face seemed shrouded in a layer of frost, and she never initiated communication with me. Even if it was just the two of us in the office, she always acted as if I didn't exist. I had long since grown accustomed to this. This girl completely let herself go after graduation, handing all the business over to her subordinates, while she holed up in the company and went nowhere, playing games when she had nothing to do. I really don't know what her parents were thinking, actually trusting her to manage a company. Hearing the sound of her game match failing, I calmly closed the love manual page on my computer and walked over to pour her water. Otherwise, she would take her anger out on me again. Having received her salary and living in her house without doing much, I found it acceptable to put up with some temper, especially since I earned over 10,000 for just a few cups of water. Liu Ruyan frowned at me, surely looking for a mistake to scold me. Coincidentally, because she was staring at me, I wasn't paying attention and the cup in my hand shook, spilling some water on Liu Ruyan's skirt. Chenzei, you! Seeing Liu Ruyan's anger exploding and her about to unleash a torrent of words, the love quotes I had recently read blurted out, "Baby, don't be angry." Liu Ruyan's body stiffened, and then I watched as a flush of red flooded her fair face. The hand pointing at me trembled slightly, and her eyes widened. As soon as the words left my mouth, I knew I was in trouble. Scolding me would have been fine, but if she fired me, how would I explain it to my old man? "What did you just say?" Liu Ruyan even stuttered. Seeing that she didn't look angry at all, a thought occurred to me. She wouldn't actually fall for this, would he? This girl is just like me and has never been in a relationship. Since she's not angry, why not try the routines from the love manual? I said, "Baby, don't be angry. It's not your fault. You'll definitely win next time," I said in a gentle and easygoing tone. I leaned down from behind her, almost pressing against her back, and reached out to point at the match settlement screen on her phone. Quote, "This match was all the support's fault. They didn't know how to initiate or protect the carry. It's normal to lose with a teammate like that." My breath brushed against her earlobe, and I could clearly see her exquisite small ear turning bright red. Is that so? I also felt the support was the problem." Her voice began to tremble slightly. I found it even more hilarious and simply pulled over a chair to sit next to her, starting to give her advice on how to win the match. 15 minutes later, Liu Ruyan won the game and let out a joyful soft cry, followed by my 100-point praise. "You're at work. Go back to your workstation." She suddenly realized how close we were. When she leaned back, she almost lay directly in my arms. She reflexively dodged to the side and then glared at me in shame and anger. "Okay, I'll listen to whatever baby says." "Don't call me that." "No problem, baby." "Don't call me that." "Okay, baby." For the entire day, Liu Ruyan was restless. Several times I caught her stealing glances at me and then her face would turn red. "Baby, what do you want for dinner?" The more she acted like this, the happier I felt, keeping baby on my lips all day. By the time work ended, I was naturally calling her Bao, babe. I gave myself a big thumbs up in my heart. I had Liu Ruyan right where I wanted her. Her movement to push the door open suddenly stopped, and she stared at me with her beautiful big eyes. "Are you sick?" "This is the company." "Okay, baby, I'll call you that once we're out of the company." As I spoke, I made a move to grab her hand. She dodged like she'd been electrocuted and pushed the door open to walk out. Her movements were swift, her high heels clicking loudly on the ground, though the rhythm of her steps was a bit chaotic. Seeing her like this, I felt even more excited. The sense of achievement from teasing an iceberg into this state was overwhelming. Out at the workstations, only Zhang Lili was left. Seeing the two of us walking out, one after the other, with Liu Ru's face still red, Zhang Lili gave an auntie smile and a cheering gesture to me. I returned the smile and quickly caught up with Liu Ruyan. Baby, you haven't said what you want to eat tonight yet. Getting into Liu Ruyan's red S8, I continued to tease her relentlessly. Go to the supermarket to buy groceries. She took a deep breath, seemingly feeling that she couldn't stop my provocation, and simply stopped paying attention to me. Baby, watch the car speed. Baby, how about we watch a movie when we get back tonight? Baby, don't always keep a straight face. Baby, why aren't you smiling? Do you not like to smile, baby? Along the way, Liu Ruyan ignored me, but I am not someone who retreats easily. Continuous ambiguity, and baby after baby, made her face redder and redder, all the way to her neck. Chenzi, what do you mean? At the parking lot, Liu Ruyan didn't get out of the car but stared straight at me, finally asking through gritted teeth, what's wrong with me? Calling you baby makes it seem intimate, doesn't it? I blinked, acting innocent, while inside I was almost bursting with laughter. This girl had been cold-faced since college, making other guys afraid to approach her, but now she looked like she was so flustered she might cry. She was truly too cute. She glared at me for a long time and finally got out of the car without a word. I was afraid of overstimulating her and making her angry, so I didn't tease her immediately. I followed behind her, pushing the shopping cart. She picked out vegetables on her own, not saying a word to me. At the checkout, I pushed the cart in front and put the scanned items inside. Babe, you haven't given me this month's salary yet. You pay. The cashier held the scanning gun for me to pay, and I suddenly turned around and said to Liu Ruyan piteously. The ambiguous looks from several people nearby immediately shifted toward us. Liu Ruyan's face turned so red it looked like it would drip blood, and she hurriedly took out her phone to pay. Brother, you gotta have your own private stash in the future. A middle-aged man next to us joked like someone who had been through it. Can't help it. Working under someone else means I can't save anything. I gave the man a helpless smile, and there was a sense of mutual understanding between us. Before Liu Ruyan could turn into a steam engine, she walked away quickly. I followed behind, shouting, "Baby, wait!" I chased all the way, but Liu Ruyan walked faster and faster, seemingly wanting to lose me. Chenze, are you sick? Are you sick? Sitting in the car, Liu Ruyan didn't start the engine but glared at me with shame and indignation, immediately launching a flurry of punches and kicks at me. Due to the small space in the car, her flowery punches and leg kicks couldn't be fully unleashed, and I easily subdued her by hugging her with both hands. She just kept struggling. Let go of me, or I'll dock your salary. Babe, don't be angry. I'll cook something delicious for you at home. Looking at her red-faced and shy appearance, I leaned in and whispered in her ear, then let go of her. You wait until we get home? I'll deal with you then. Okay, baby, you can deal with me however you want at home, as long as you're not angry. My brazenness left her speechless. With a face as red as the morning clouds, she started the car and went home. Baby, come out and eat. After returning home, she burrowed into her room. She had made grand claims in the car about dealing with me, but now she was hiding and dared not see me. After finishing the meal, I knocked on her door. No sound. It seemed she was thin-skinned and too shy to come out. I finished dinner triumphantly and went back to my room without clearing the table. Knowing Liu Ruyan's stubbornness, she would definitely come out to eat. There was no way she would skip dinner. Sure enough, half an hour later, Liu Ruyan's door pushed open a crack. From my room, I could see her doorway perfectly. She looked outside a few times and then walked out of the room directly toward the dining table, hurriedly picking up chopsticks, seemingly very afraid I would come out and tease her again. I held back my laughter and waited until she was almost done before pushing the door and walking out. Baby, is the food cold? Do you want me to heat it up for you? As my voice fell, her eating movements stiffened. She turned around to meet my teasing gaze. No need, I'm full. Oh, next time baby wants to eat, tell me in advance. How can I let you eat cold food? Chenze, can you be serious for once? With a smack, Liu Ruyan put down her chopsticks and went into her bedroom without looking back. It seemed she didn't plan to come out again tonight. The next day, I continued calling her baby and babe without stopping. The redness on the tips of Liu Ruyan's ears never dissipated. Baby, Why are you ignoring me? Baby, look at me, don't just look at the computer. Liu Ruyan was so teased by me that she simply collapsed onto the table, refusing to look at my handsome face. Then I crawled under her desk and looked up at her. Can you be a bit more normal? After a 10-second gaze, the redness on Liu Ruyan's face reached her neck and she shouted at me in shame. Okay, baby, don't be angry. I won't bother you. Then I went back to my station and pretended to look at documents. Baby, are you still angry now? After a few minutes, just as Liu Ruyan's face returned to normal, my doting voice rang out again. For the next few days, I had this new pleasure and continued to tease her incessantly. Every time I saw her red-faced look, I felt great satisfaction. She never bossed me around anymore. Usually, she wished I wouldn't speak, so she hardly dared to open her mouth. Until one night, a week later, she seemed to have a counter-strategy. When she came out of her room, she had changed her clothes, a white shirt and a short skirt, with black stockings on her long straight legs. We sat at the dining table, and my gaze couldn't help but steal glances. I didn't even know what the food tasted like while looking at those long legs. Could this woman be trying to test me? Testing me with this? Chenzei, I want to talk to you. Liu Ruyan looked like she was mentally prepared, her face as calm as usual. But when I looked at her long legs, she still couldn't help but shift her legs uncomfortably. That icy aura vanished completely when I called her, Babe. Okay, babe, I said naturally after clearing the table. I sat across from her seriously. Liu Ruyan lowered her eyes, her long eyelashes trembling slightly, and her small hands were tightly clenched into fists. It seemed her heart was not as calm as her surface. What exactly do you mean these past few days? When Liu Ruyan asked this, I didn't answer immediately but started observing her by the light. I had to say, she really was beautiful. Her skin was very white. Not ordinary white, but a cool-toned porcelain white that reflected a faint silvery glow under the light. Because you're pretty and I want to flirt with you. For some reason, my inner thoughts blurted out. Although we were technically rivals, we had never done anything particularly out of line to each other. Before, it was just childhood competitiveness. Liu Ruyan seemed to care deeply about my words, and her voice even carried a hint of grievance. You just flirt and don't take responsibility. Saying the word you, Liu Ruyan's emotions suddenly became agitated. Don't talk nonsense. I'm an honest man. Don't slander me. When have I not taken responsibility? Wait, that's not right. What did I do that requires me to take responsibility? You wrote me so many love letters, how come you didn't take responsibility? Liu Ruyan looked like she could finally hold it in no longer, letting all her emotions out at once. Her eyes even turned red in her aggrieved voice. I was suddenly stunned. Quote, How did you know? I didn't sign my name. Did you really think I wouldn't recognize your handwriting? I wrote like that and you still recognized it? Chenzei, we've known each other since we were kids. How could I not know your handwriting? Liu Ruyan and I stared at each other, both clearly realizing something was wrong. Weren't you just trying to play me back then? Liu Ruyan finally discovered the key point and asked in disbelief, that. Maybe it's probably what you think. I scratched my head sheepishly and answered guiltily. Don't tell me you knew from the beginning that I wrote the love letters? Liu Ruyan was speechless for a moment. I tentatively asked, I'm not stupid. I knew from the first one you wrote me. Her answer was clear and concise, making me feel ashamed. Seeing her sad and aggrieved expression, I quickly tried to explain, Well, didn't you also play me later with that confession? Then we're even. Play you? I prepared so carefully for so long and you thought I was playing you? It was better not mentioned. Once mentioned, Liu Ruyan's tears started falling. Her pear blossom bathed in rain appearance made my heart soften completely. You threw the flowers away and said you wanted to see me make a fool of myself. If that wasn't playing me, you didn't agree. As a girl, I could only say that to save some face. Seeing her sobbing while recounting her grievances, I felt a massive headache. Hey man, just talk, why are you crying? I didn't say I wouldn't agree, I just hadn't made up my mind yet before you threw the flowers away. Wait, you mean you were going to agree back then? Liu Ruyan's sobbing stopped. She looked up at me, crystal tears still flowing from her eyes. Wasn't it because I hadn't made up my mind yet, and then you said you were playing me? I can't stand to see girls cry, especially when I'm the one making them cry. I hurriedly pulled out tissues for her and explained, Then have you made up your mind now? Liu Ruyan slumped on the floor, head down, sobbing continuously with her hands covering her face. She looked truly pitiable. My heart tightened. Is it a bit too fast? We were rivals not long ago, and she was bossing me around all day. If I agree now, won't it get even worse later? Wah! I'm going to call Uncle and say you bullied me. Liu Ruyan couldn't wait for my answer and started reaching for her phone. Don't, sis. Baby, I agree. Stop your hand. I quickly intervened. If she called my dad crying now, I'd definitely be in for it. She dropped her phone and suddenly hugged me. I knew you liked me. I looked at her close-up smiling face, full of satisfaction after getting her way. Where was there any trace of grievance or crying? Liu Ruyan, you... Before I could finish, she blocked my mouth with her soft lips. Don't even think about shaking me off. I've waited for you for so many years. I'll never let go. She ran back to her room as fast as a nimble rabbit. I could only see her side profile, red as the morning glow under the light. After a while, I licked my lips, took out my phone to research a bit, got up, and started knocking on Liu Ruyan's door. Baby, open the door. We'll talk about anything tomorrow. I checked. The way you kissed me just now was wrong. We have to do it again. There was a silence in the room, and then Liu Ruyan opened the door. How was it wrong? I saw on TV that it's like this. Stay still like this. Stick your tongue out. The next morning, Liu Ruyan came out of the bedroom in a daze, a stray hair standing up stubbornly on her head. Baby, come over and eat quickly. It seemed she had already adapted to my nickname. She let out a sweet, muddled response and sat down at the dining table. Babe, what? Liu Ruyan looked up after I called her, and then I kissed her, leaving her only able to make muffled sounds. Good morning, kiss, baby. Instantly, Liu Ruyan was wide awake. Remembering that I had agreed to be her boyfriend last night, she directly locked her hands behind my neck and gave me a deep kiss back. Stepping into the company in the morning, Liu Ruyan walked in with her arm around mine. Over 20 people in the hall all looked at me, showing various expressions. Envy, jealousy, shock, and gossiping eyes constantly roamed over us. Good morning, work hard today. Liu Ruyan smiled brightly and took the initiative to wave a hand before walking into the office. Those two are together, isn't it obvious? The iceberg melted. She actually smiled today. A gifted scholar and a beautiful lady. They really are a match. Hey, I remember those two used to be at odds before. Ha! That was just flirting. While working, colleagues kept gossiping in their small group chat. Inside the office, Liu Ruyan and I started negotiating conditions. Last night was a bit rushed. I want to make a request. I sat next to Liu Kaiyan and poked her shoulder with my finger. Liu Kaiyan acted as if she didn't hear and silently continued looking at documents. Baby, I'm asking you for a favor. Seeing her pretend not to hear, I suddenly had a stroke of inspiration and changed the address. Say it. Liu Ruyan instantly broke into a smile, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me. Baby, I want to buy a gaming console. The salary you give me isn't quite enough. I was speechless inside, but very affectionate on the surface. Buy it. I'll take you to buy it after work. Liu Ruyan reached out to pat my head, her eyes squinting, making me feel like a cat being petted. Liu Ruyan completely lost herself in my repeated baby addresses. She drove me all the way to the digital city. I picked out a gaming console with a good price-performance ratio, priced at $3,200. I also took a look at graphics cards, thinking mine could still be used for a while, so I didn't plan to look further. Baby, don't buy this cheap kind, just get the best one. Liu Ruyan put down the console in my hand and turned to the salesperson. Wow, so generous. I blinked, suddenly feeling that my laptop was too low-end for gaming and should be replaced with a desktop gaming rig. Wife, I also want a gaming computer. Hearing the title, Wife, Liu Ruyan's hand holding mine tightened significantly. Her beautiful eyes stared at me without blinking. Husband, buy the best. Sure enough, as soon as the title changed, Liu Ruyan was immediately energized like she'd been injected with chicken blood and started pointing things out to the salesperson. The case has to be the transparent kind with lights inside. The graphics card must be the highest. Isn't the 5090 very popular? Install it for my husband. Everything must be the best. Seeing a big customer, the salesperson ignored other customers and started assembling everything with nimble hands and feet. Half an hour later, the bill was $83,000. My wife pays. I held several boxes of varying sizes and said playfully to the salesperson. Several guys in the shop had been staring this way, and seeing Liu Ruyan pay so readily, Their eyes were full of disbelief. I walked out of the digital city, holding the boxes with my head held high, leaving behind a pile of envious and jealous looks. Husband, say it again. The console is in hand, I'm not saying it anymore. When you're begging someone, you call them baby. When buying, you call them wife. Now that it's in hand, you stop calling, right? Once out the door, Liu Ruyan kept pestering me to call her wife. I held the boxes and deliberately argued with her. Tutu, what's that? You called me something else after I bought it for you. We both belong to the year of the rabbit. It's a nickname. She pondered for a moment before nodding in satisfaction. This name is okay too. You can call me that when no one is around. Then Tutu, do you eat carrots? No, I'm not a real rabbit. Since we started dating, the longer we spent together, the clingier Liu Ruyan became. At night, I sat on the rug with a controller playing games. Having been bored all day at the company, I wanted to play more at home, but Liu Ruyan was always unwilling. I negotiated with her, and she finally agreed to give me 2 hours of gaming time every day, but when I played at night, she always dressed lightly, swinging her long, white legs in front of me. What was more irritating was that she would deliberately turn her back to me and squat down to rummage through a drawer. Hey, if you keep this up, don't blame me for researching the hardware softening engineering. At a young age with a hot temper, how could I stand such a test? I said to her sternly with a straight face. I let you play games just to show you but not let you eat. She even deliberately stretched out a leg to swing in front of me, drawing my gaze to follow it unconsciously. Liu Ruyan! My temper flared up. I dropped the controller and rushed toward her. This time her legs were nimble. She turned around, ran into the bedroom, and locked the door. You have the nerve to start the fire, but not the nerve to open the door? I patted the bedroom door indignantly. I won't open it for you. You spend all day thinking about games. I shouldn't have bought it for you. Her triumphant, mocking answer came from inside the room. I was wrong, baby. Too late. Good wife, open the door and let husband love you. Not a chance. Little rabbit, be good. Open the door. Ha ha ha. My antics made Liu Ruyan giggle inside, but she still refused to open the door. In the end, I had no heart for games and could only take a cold shower and go to sleep. The next morning, Liu Ruyan kept watching me, warily guarding against what I might do. But I was expressionless, and by the time we reached the company gate, I hadn't done anything, letting her breathe a sigh of relief. But at the office door, I pinned her behind the door. Are you crazy? Let go of me quickly. Do you still dare to play tricks on me? What's wrong with... Before Liu Ruyan could finish, I blocked her lips. A 3-minute kiss left her head spinning. Do you still dare? Liu Ruyan's eyes cleared up a bit as she looked at me warily. A crafty look flashed through her eyes, but just as she was about to speak, she was kissed again. Continuous kissing made Liu Ruyan's red lips slightly swollen. She breathed deeply, feeling a bit unsteady on her feet. I don't dare anymore. She lowered her head to avoid my gaze. She felt she had to submit, so she gave in first. Then today I'll be the boss and you'll be the assistant. I let go in satisfaction and sat swaggeringly in her seat, mimicking her habit of tapping the desk to signal her to make coffee. She pursed her lips, but went anyway. After coming back, under my pressure, she massaged my shoulders. Manager Lee, who came to talk about business, pushed the door open and happened to see Liu Ruyan massaging me. After a brief freeze, he quickly apologized and went out. Why didn't you close the door? I thought you closed it. After the two of us pushed the responsibility onto each other, we went back to what we were doing. Anyway, almost everyone in the company knew, and their gossip was none of our business. Speaking of which, should we tell our families? Liu Ruyan suddenly brought up this topic. I was a bit embarrassed. I used to always speak ill of Liu Ruyan in front of my parents, and now bringing her home would be quite awkward. Let's wait until next month. I'll go home once in these few days and give them a heads up. Liu Ruyan frowned and stared at me suspiciously for a long time. Are you trying to back out? I'm telling you, watch out, or I'll tell your parents directly. No, Tutu. How could you think that? You're so beautiful and considerate, and you even bought me a gaming machine. How could I back out? You still mention it. I shouldn't have bought it for you. Mentioning the gaming machine made Liu Ruyan a bit frantic because I always started playing games right after eating at home, spending less time with her. In response, I could only smile guiltily. Games are so attractive. Not letting me play would be torture. At night, I still sat on the rug. Liu Ruyan wore only a white t-shirt that covered her ultra-short shorts. She stretched a small foot onto my knee, deliberately causing trouble for me every now and then. I couldn't concentrate. I looked at Liu Ruyan with a bitter face. This girl always ran away after stirring up trouble, completely ignoring me. After all this time, I hadn't eaten the meat yet. I reckon you should be out of money recently, right? My salary for this month had been spent on games, and I had bought a necklace for Liu Ruyan. There were still 10 or so days until payday. I thought she would considerately give me some pocket money, but she actually used this to limit my gaming time. Okay, I surrender. How about 1 hour of gaming time a day? 1 hour? Let me think. Liu Ruyan counted on her fingers and then acted generously. Then I'll give you 50 for pocket money every day. 50 is not enough. Then, Liu Ruyan's face suddenly became a bit strange. She stretched her small foot in front of me. Lick it once, and I'll give you 1,000. Liu Ruyan, don't go too far. A man can be killed, but not insulted. I said there was no way I would do such a thing for money. 2,000. That night, I looked happily at the extra 50,000 in my phone. With money, my back was straight. I started demanding that Liu Ruyan do housework after coming home at night. However, after Liu Ruyan made dinner for the first time, I almost saw the afterlife. Finally, I decided I would cook and she would tidy up the house. 2 days later, I took some time to go home, thinking about telling my parents about Liu Ruyan. But when I actually got home, looking at my parents, I just couldn't say it. Because I had never said anything good about Liu Ruyan, always picking on her for this and that, now saying I was dating her. I didn't know if my parents would accept it. I hesitated for a long time, and finally when I was heading back out, I told my mom I was dating a girl and would bring her back next time to show them. My mom wasn't as gossipy as I imagined. She just nodded calmly. I returned to Liu Ruyan's house with questions. She looked very nervous. Seeing me return, she quickly pulled me to ask this and that. I told my mom, I'll bring you back next time. Liu Ruyan was very happy to hear this, and then started researching something on her phone. I took a peek and found her looking for hair salons. I couldn't help but joke. Baby, you're so pretty. Do you really need a professional hairstyle to see my mom? What do you know? This is a sense of ritual. But you were practically raised by my mom. She already knows you. Liu Ruyan paused. A few seconds later, she turned around and hit me on the head. I even made a strategy for meeting your parents. I was so nervous, I forgot our families were so close. Seeing her with hands on her hips, looking like she was going to blame me for this, I spread my hands and pointed at my head to mock her. Can't help it, my IQ is normal. Big idiot. Yesterday you called me little tutu, today you call me big idiot. The more we spoke, the more heated it got, and the two of us had a fight, a real fight, with punches and kicks. Finally, Liu Ruyan was pinned by me on the sofa, panting and not daring to talk back anymore. To be honest, I was also exhausted. Liu Ruyan looked thin, but she had quite a lot of strength when struggling. I was also afraid of using too much force and hurting her, which took a lot of effort. After Liu Ruyan gave in, the two of us lay flat on the rug to recover our strength. Baby, let's get married. Looking at the girl right next to me, I suddenly felt an impulse. I wanted to spend my life with her. Liu Ruyan moved her body embarrassedly and turned her back to me. No! Her muffled voice made me flip over and sit up, frantically pulling at her. Why? You don't want to marry me? Quote, who proposes like this? Where's your ring? Where's the ritual? Liu Ruyan shook off my hand and answered gloomily. Baby, I was wrong. I'll formally propose to you tomorrow, okay? I want the kind that many people can see. And I want to be dressed up beautifully. You have to dress up handsomely too. You can't embarrass me. And I want a big truck full of gifts, the kind with a transparent cover. And Liu Ruyan started counting the plan for the proposal scene on her fingers. At first, I listened seriously, but as she spoke more and more ridiculously, I quickly blocked her mouth. The next day at noon, after Liu Ruyan finished lunch, this was her requirement that she must have breakfast before the proposal, otherwise her stomach would be hungry. Baby, I love you, marry me! In the square in the center of the city, I wore a silver-gray high-end suit, my hair perfectly styled by a hairdresser. Holding a ring in one hand and flowers in the other, I knelt on one knee to propose to Liu Ruyan. The big screen behind us synchronized the scene, attracting many onlookers. It's just like that, not as exciting as I imagined. If I had known, I would have made the ceremony simpler. So much money wasted for nothing. After I put on the ring and we kissed and hugged, Liu Ruo whispered complaints against my shoulder. Weren't you the one who demanded so much? I even skipped a lot. To outsiders, Liu Ruyan and I were a gifted scholar and a beautiful lady, hugging affectionately and saying sweet things, while only we knew we were bickering about the cost of the proposal scene. Immediately afterward, I took Liu Ruyan back to my home. Pushing the door open, I saw Uncle Liu and Auntie Liu sitting opposite my parents, seemingly discussing something. Seeing us enter, they only nodded calmly. Then I heard my dad and Uncle Liu's loud voices. My Chen family's grandson must be named Chen. In your dreams, I didn't say he couldn't have your name, just that the second grandson will take my name. No way. They're all from my Chen family, why should they take your name? What's wrong with taking my name? Won't my money all belong to your family in the end? After listening for a while, I understood. These two were arguing over which family name our future second son would take. How did you know? Liu Ruyan pulled me from behind. I told them a long time ago. Why didn't you tell me? I was afraid you wouldn't take responsibility. I gave Liu Ruyan a thumbs up. Clever, truly clever. Both families knew everything, while I was the only one nervous all day, thinking about how to tell my parents. Don't mention it! Giving you an inch and you take a mile. You big idiot. Auntie, Chen Zi is calling me names. My mom's eyes looked over like searchlights, the majesty in them making me shiver. I took 2 slaps from my mom and over a dozen kicks under the table from Liu Ruyan before the meal was finished, and we escaped. You wait. Tonight, I'll let you know how powerful I am. I pulled Liu Ruyan fiercely. Those kicks under the table just now felt quite painful. The elders were there, so I won't argue with you. Wait until we get back. Who's afraid of you? Liu Ruyan's face was red, and he muttered stubbornly. My eyes widened. Don't you always push me away at the last moment? Why are you willing to agree this time? That night, I got my wish and finally knew that someone with cool white skin is that white all over. Liu Ruyan gave the answer, while leaning in my arms and looking at me devotedly. I was afraid of being looked down upon by you. If we didn't get married, you'd say I was improper, and you wouldn't give me a status. I was deliberately pestering you. Tutu babe, I like you so much. Even at our current stage, my sudden intimate address still made Liu Ruyan's body tremble slightly, and his face turned bright red. At the end of the year, through the efforts of Liu Ruyan and me, we finally went bankrupt. Because the two of us did nothing serious all day, always fooling around in the office, either playing games or chatting together, and never caring about the business. Most of the employees left, and only a few loyal ones looked at the company of over a year with reluctance. Haha, since our company is gone, let me arrange a place for you. I clapped my hands to get their attention, and then brought them to join my dad's company. Moving from a small company of 20 people to a company of 200, their salaries and bonuses were much higher. It felt like finding a new path. I thought young Master Chen was just clinging to the Liu family. Turns out you're the wealthy one. I said goodbye to them with a smile and handed out wedding invitations. 2 years later, baby, be good. Let's go to sleep. I held our first child and whispered to coax him to sleep. As for why my voice was so low, if I were louder, I was afraid Liu Ruyan would hear and get jealous. Yes, he would get jealous of his own son. Because I called our son baby, he would throw a tantrum with me. At night, after coaxing my son for a long time, he finally fell asleep.